Alright guys, I'm going to explain in the simplest way the reason why certain damage types are needed in certain activities. So really quick, for those of you that just want, a brief analysis on what it actually does, if you just go ahead and click the actual damage type on any of the guns that you are currently using, it will bring up the damage per hit chart. Each damage type will eventually be required in order to do certain activities easier. Do you actually have to switch to a set damage type in order to complete the activity? To answer that question, no. You literally could just use whatever damage type that you would like all of the time. There are certain activities that are going to require you to utilize a specific damage type in order to make it easier and or to get it done faster. As you can see, this enemy right here has a different damage type than the weapon that I'm currently using. So when I hit this enemy, it doesn't really do that much damage. I do, I do a decent amount of damage because my weapon's pretty leveled, but I'm not going to deal nearly as much damage as if I were to use this weapon, which is now hitting for 8,000 to 12,000. If you do not have the proper damage type on game modes like that, each enemy could literally take up to a minute to kill. So with all that being said, you are going to want to have at least 3 weapons in the game total, always built. And what I mean by this is, for instance, my Lady Death and also my FAMAS are pretty much fully built. They're fully modded out to my best abilities. They are fully leveled almost. My FAMAS is level 49, almost to 50. And as for my Pierce weapon, this is my Pierce weapon right here, which is the UIC 15. So as you can see, it's also level 46. It's got all the mods slotted on it. And the general rule of thumb here is to always have 3 weapons fully kitted. And the reason for this, the main reason for this, is let's say you are going to actually try and do an elite mission challenge, right? As you can see, we have lack of piercing damage. The main reason why you want all 3 is because let's say everyone in your group simply does not have pierce damage, which again, everyone should. But then you'll be able to instantly swap over to it, or 2 of you will be able to swap over to it, and you guys will no longer have an issue with that exact damage type not being met. And like I said, this does matter, guys. Please don't sleep on this. Like, literally just having the correct damage type fighting the enemies that you're fighting could make all of the difference. I mean, it literally makes tens of thousands of damage of a difference, so definitely don't sleep on this strategy. I do get a lot of questions asked, like what are the best weapons in the game and such, like, stuff like that. It's really not that big of a deal to be using a weapon that someone else is or isn't. Like, for instance, I personally really enjoy the UIC 15. That is my Pierce weapon. I chose that weapon because I really like the way it shoots. I like the way it looks. Um, the Black Market, for instance, is also a really cool looking weapon. I would probably use this also. With that being said, though, because I like that weapon so much, there are plenty of other options. I mean, there's also the DSR-1 that you could use that's really cool. You can use the PPSH. These are weapons that I just simply don't want to use, though. I prefer to use the weapons that I like. I mean, I might even use the Vector, right? But at the end of the day, though, it's really just all up to preference, guys. There's not really like one gun that beats them all, or, one best in slot for a specific damage type. As you guys can see here, there are plenty of different elements, different damage types for each gun. And again, it's really just up to preference, man. Like, personally, I like single shot weapons a little bit more than others. The Lady Death is like the only one that I actually utilize that is a full automatic. But personally, I really do. I like the single shots, especially for PvE content. It's super convenient. They do a lot of damage. I don't have to worry about too much of the ammo resource scarcity. So for me, this is just a really easy weapon to use for piercing damage. And for those of you asking or wondering, is there ways to make your damage a little bit better? Yes, of course there is. One of the absolute easiest ways to boost your guys' damage on any of your weapons is to just simply have the right attachments. All of the attachments in the game that you're going to get are pretty much going to be random. So for instance, skill blast damage and all weapon damage. This is still a really good attachment, especially because of the power score being pretty high, and it gives a lot of engineering. But in this case, I don't really use skill blast damage. I don't really have a skill with blast damage on it. So I would still be able to benefit from the all weapons damage, plus 22. So in conclusion, this would still benefit me. But again, there are going to be other things that would benefit me a little bit more. Like this one right here, for instance, would also benefit me a little bit more because now it has skill piercing damage and skill damage overall. So this would actually be a better one specifically for my skills, and it comes with engineering on it also, which is also really good for my skills because it'll boost my overall, skill damage in general because of the engineering bonus on it. Also keep in mind that if the armor is no longer on the target that you're shooting, so let's say the target in front of me right now is blast damage and I break his armor. As soon as I break his armor, I can switch to whatever my other gun is, my more powerful weapon, and then I can just shoot him with that, and there will be no penalty for the damage. The only time you get the penalty, guys, is when the armor is still on the target. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Hope this helps.